Heads up, 20 ups. Okay, so this is being uploaded a bit late because I kind of slept most of the day, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Lucy, raising the next generation of nerd fighters makes you the best mom ever. Just period. Period. And your art, awesome sauce. If you're a Hufflepuff and I'm a Slytherin, what house is everyone else in? Because we should know these things. Eddie Izzard is the shit, honestly. And so, cake or death? Cake or death? The challenges, yes, I'm not sure how I feel on that. Or History Week, I don't know. Craig, music talent, awesome sauce as well. I used to play the flute when I was in middle school, and I kind of forgot. That, I know, seems weird. I developed Asperger's, and I wasn't playing at the time, so it kind of went out of my brain. But I do have a flute. I can learn again, you know, if I find someone who would teach me. So that's always on the back burner. But I'm more of a singer, to be honest. So, always have been. Yep. And don't worry about music theory, because you want to be a musician. You want to focus on the music and making great music. Music theory is only important to the people who care about incorporating music theory into their music. If you don't, that's cool, because not everyone does, you know. To each their own. I still have some Pokemon cards somewhere in a box, but no Digimon cards. Did you ever have one of those Digimon toys? Did anybody here? You know, Tamagotchi? I had a Pikachu one, but that was pretty much it. Thanks for the input on my relationship and my ring, which is still broken, because I might as well just buy a new one. This wasn't bought by my boyfriend. Ever since I was a kid, I've worn a ring on my ring finger. Don't know why. They used to have pretty stones in them and everything, and I just eventually got to a band after losing a ring my dad bought me with a rose on it, which mostly I wanted because of Revolutionary Girl Utena, one of the best animes of the mid-90s, next to Neon Genesis Evangelion and Sailor Moon. Moving on. You love cats? I love cats. I grew up with cats everywhere. We had 10 acres of land, and we had almost 20 cats when I was a kid. And so I used to play with them and pretend I was a cat. DJ, I was lucky to have parents who kept themselves very informed and up to date on what I wanted to do with my life. When I was like 6 or 7, I wanted to join the Navy because my dad had been in the Navy. But he told me straight out that, you know, you've got these health issues, because I had some as a kid, and still do, and such. And they could stop you from doing that. So have some backups, you know. Make sure you have more than just one thing you want to do in your life. That's what my parents always told me. So I also decided I wanted to be a nurse. My mom was a nurse. I even wanted to be a secretary because my grandmother had been a secretary. And yes, I was raised by 3 parental units. My parents always told me, you know, you can dream big, just don't dream singularly. Is that a word? You know, they didn't stifle me in dreaming to be whatever I wanted to be. They just said, always make sure you've got something you can go back on that you would enjoy. And that was the big thing. Do what you enjoy. Teaching me that doing what you love is what's important, and they all loved what they did. And in the case of the one living parental unit, my mom still does what she loves. She's an activities director still, or life enrichment director is what they call it. And she loves it. Yes, she's a workaholic sometimes. She's getting better, but she is a workaholic because she loves her job. Things out of videos is bound to happen. It was bound to happen. It will still happen, because that's the point of this collab. We're learning about each other, and that takes time. And in that taking time, even with a time limit, which minimum is great without a maximum, love that, still time, and it's going to be a while, and we're always going to forget things, and We need to learn to leave ourselves notes and follow in Jin's example and make notes on what we're going to do in our videos, because that helps, make a timeline of what we're going to say, so we don't forget things, but even if we still forget things, have a list during the week of things you want to share or want to try and share. One take was a fluke. A fluke. I did it. It was a fluke. As you can see, this wasn't a one-take video. I'll probably never do that again. Pink looks awesome on you. Really, it does. Your English is excellent. Even with the cuts and everything in your video of you, trying to make sure that you're saying everything right, you speak eloquently. And I just thought you should know that. Learning direction, GPS. I've known people who had trouble with directions, where they'd get lost just by turning literally around in one spot. GPS is how they learned, and if you're able to get that kind of a thing to help, I say go for it, because it could probably really help you. I'm not saying how long it could help, in the future, but it could help. You pointed out that we're going to be learning about ourselves as well as everyone else, and I completely agree, wholeheartedly agree that you were completely right. We are going to learn about ourselves as we learn about each other, and that I think is pretty awesome, because it doesn't do to just teach people about who you are if you don't learn about who you are, because we're an ever-changing species, and we grow up, and it's not just our bodies but our minds, and we can be one kind of person at one point and become a whole different person. I know for a fact that 2 years ago I was a much different person than I am now. Partially that's my Asperger's, but it's also the things I experience in my life, the things that I do, the things that I don't do, the decisions that I make. They affect how they affect the type of person that I am, and those things affect the type of people we all are, if that makes any sense. Book recommendations, awesome idea. I love it, because I have a lot of recommendations, as I bet everyone else does. Denyam, mini lessons, great idea. I don't know what I would do right now off the top of my head. I've had a little time to think about it, and I still don't know what I do a day later, but I could figure that out eventually, maybe. I might just, turn the camera on randomly, like, oh, this is my mini lesson, because that's just how things go, but I never know. I understand the idea of simplifying things, like parents' jobs and everything. I never was that kind of person. I was a big technical Tessie as a kid, and if I knew everything about something, I'd go on and yammer about this, that, and the other thing, and I got called a technical Tessie and a teacher's pet a lot. So yeah, that's I was not insulted by it though. Anyway, so I don't really have much to add. I do want to know if anyone else wants to share things like Twitter with one another, Tumblr, Daily Booth. What other things are there? I don't know. But the other such avenues of the interwebs. I mean, they give a glimpse into who we are, but they don't give enough to who we are, that we're sharing more in the videos than we are on things like Twitter and Tumblr and Daily Booth. That I don't know if you want to have those shared. I'm a pretty open person, to be honest. I throw my links out to everything. Like, yeah, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. I don't really care. But I just thought it'd be a good idea to ask everybody. Would have done this earlier, were not for my jaw. Tried to have a wisdom tooth pulled this morning, and I had a panic attack as she started pulling, and it was too much, and she stopped, because panic attack during this procedure, not a good thing. And a lot of the oral surgeons in my area don't take my insurance, so I have to try and find a way to get this done because it needs to be done. So I'm just gonna moan, groan, and pain and soreness because, oh,